My name is Asia Sampson, and today on Baptism Overland, we're installing a winch. Actually, it's already installed. There's nothing in here. So let me tell you what kind of day I've had. I was sitting at home this morning, chilling, looking forward to having nothing to do at all today. And then I get a text message that Harbor Freight has a 20% off, no exclusions coupon. As soon as I saw that, jumped up from my seat, hopped in the Jeep, and then went over there so I can pick up this winch. I've been wanting a winch for a very, very long time. I mean, anyone who gets an off-road vehicle, one of the first things you start thinking about is, I'm gonna go get a winch for this thing. And just like everybody else, I was looking at the industry leaders, Warn, Smittybilt, but I just could not stomach paying anywhere between $800 low end to maybe $1,500 or more for the higher end models for an item that I probably will not be using very often. I'm not the kind of guy who considers himself a hardcore off-roader. Yeah, we hit the trails, but it's not like I go every weekend where I'm probably gonna need a winch every other week because someone is getting stuck. I'm just not gonna put a winch through its paces like that. We go camping and overlanding, and this is one of those mods where I would just love to have one on the Jeep in the event that I need it. It's better to have it and not use it than needing it and not having one at all. And then somebody hit me to the Apex Badland winch by Harbor Freight. And look, the minute I heard Harbor Freight, probably just like a lot of you, I cringed a little bit. Hearing the word Harbor Freight is like hearing the word Kia or Hyundai, and the reputation is that it's gonna break down, it's cheap, not super reliable. But just like Hyundai and Kia, they have really upped their game in the last few years. Hyundai and Kia are making amazing vehicles now that are capable of hitting trails and going off-road. And now Harbor Freight has created a winch that can stand up to many of the higher name brand winches. In fact, I went online to do my research and I was hard pressed to find anyone that didn't like this winch at all. There were people that were beating it up, and some were even calling it the Worn Killer. Now, I don't know about all that, but I do know that for my needs, having a 12,000 pound winch for $599 with 20% off, meaning I get to walk away from that sale spending only about $470 for a winch that a lot of people have nothing but good things to say about. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna take advantage. So I head over to Harbor Freight. They had about two more. I picked one of these up, and there I am standing in line with this heavy winch, only to find out that their credit card machines were down. So I ended up leaving this with the cashier, went to look for the closest bank, withdrew the money that I needed, came back to Harbor Freight, paid for it in cash. By then I had already spent about an hour just getting this thing, take it to my friend Chris's house, and then that install took about 4 or 5 hours. And it's only supposed to take like, I don't know, an hour or two. And it's not because it's difficult to install, it's really pretty simple. You just mount it to your bumper and then connect the wires to your battery, and it's that easy. But getting it into this bumper was a lot more challenging than it turned out to be, simply because of where bolts are in certain places. But I'll talk about that. Let me just go ahead and show you the install now. So I'm gonna have Chris over here open it up so I can tell you a little bit about the winch. It's the Apex Badland 12,000 pound winch, synthetic rope, 3/8 inch by 80 feet. Comes with a wireless remote, which is awesome, and the line speed is 31.5 feet per minute. So it's not ultra fast.
No. Matter of fact, I don't think that's the other name brands, that you'd pay 2-3 times of what you paid for this are really any faster. They might be a little bit faster, but it's not about speed, it's about safety. That's why you get the winch. So.
Yeah, right. Oh, look at that. Opens up so sweet. A guide to winching. I bet you this says, welcome to the wonderful world of winching. Got your owner manual, safety manual.
And you got your stickers. That's 5 horsepower right there.
Stickers.
That adds
I
5
love
horsepower.
stickers. The hook on this is awesome. I like it
Yes.
better than a lot of the hooks that you get because just
It's really stout. I mean, feel that.
Stout.
That thing's got some weight to it.
Yep.
And it comes with your little
Comes with your
save
little
hands.
Yep. Remote's right there.
And what's really cool is the remote has a magnet. Stick it to the side of your vehicle.
Waterproof too. Well, water.
I wouldn't
repellent.
use it underwater,
Correct.
but yeah. Nice. Comes with a nice Haas fair lead. It's got some beef to it, but it's not overly heavy.
Yeah.
Here's your cable in case the battery in that dies.
Yep.
You can hardwire it. So there you go. All right. You got your wiring kit. This, if I'm not mistaken, you can take the top off your control module and mount it somewhere else.
Yep.
This, I've never put one of these in. It's really cool that this comes with it. It's an on-off switch, so you can put this up under your hood.
That's right.
Most people just wire this straight to their battery. I have never, ever personally heard of a winch draining somebody's battery, even on a single battery.
It's a kill switch.
Yeah, it's a kill switch. Yeah. So I mean, this is one of those things. If you want to put it on, I've never used them, but it's
because this is one more step that if I had to winch somebody, I have to pop the hood.
Well, I mean, I guess what you should do is while you're airing down your tires, turn it on, and then when you come. But I mean, like you said, it's another step.
It's another step.
I mean, it's cool that it comes with it. It's not an afterthought.
Well, the plan is to have for my air compressor is to have a remote kit so that I don't even have to pop the hood open.
There you go. There's your mounting hardware. More mounting hardware and wiring stuff for electrical. Now this already has electrical on it. These are just extra wires. So there's an extra ground.
Pretty nice.
And what's really nice is this is already on there and it's pretty tight. Here's where your side thing is.
For your cable.
Yep, for your cable. And also this is your switch for your wireless.
Yep.
One of the reviews I saw online, it was probably the only really long-term, no BS review, is he always just left it on and always left it in wireless mode and hadn't changed the battery in this in over a year and used it every weekend and never had an issue. And the only thing we'll have to do is connect your ground cable because this is just one cable. The only thing pre-wired right now is this.
Just a positive?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and one more little surprise that was on the bottom of the box that we didn't see. This is really cool. Wraps around your line. So
it's for abrasion
protecting abrasion, yep. So that's awesome, man. So what's awesome about the Badlands, I mean, listen, like I said, people will trip out if you say Harbor Freight, but I mean the value. You're getting this. I got out the door was like $4.79 with that 20% coupon, and you're getting everything that you already need. I'm excited. Yeah, this will be good.
Absolutely.
This is fun. We got the hood up. I moved the lights out of the way so we have room, and we're about to get going. What's the first step?
I don't know. I am connecting the main ground wire. The main power is already connected up here to the control box. And then there's a ground wire that comes out of the control box that has to be plugged into this connector back here. And then also your main ground wire that gets connected out here.
Oh, look, there's plastic here that we can peel off.
Yeah, make it look shiny.
Well, hold on.
That'll add about a horsepower or two.
Yeah, because that's, how much weight does this remove when I take this off? Look, it's like when you have your phone and you get to like
remove the screen protector.
Wow.
This cable won't fit inside of this loom.
Right. Yeah.
So, but we'll be able to
zip tie them all
we'll
together.
be able to zip tie it, get it up underneath your.
Yeah, make it clean.
Make it real clean. It'll look fine. You won't even notice.
I know what the route is. I've checked already before, so we'll be good. Hey man, I'm the guy with lights, so I know the wiring.
Yeah, I know. Lights before lockers. These nuts, and they're just square, and they fit in the base here. There's little slots, so they fit in there.
Easy enough.
Like that. You just get them in there, and then these bolts. So it's a bolt, flat washer, lock washer is going to come in from underneath your plate,
and we'll just lock right in,
and come in here and lock right in.
Yep.
So. We got to put all these in. It's much easier to do this now.
Well, look at me doing it one-handed.
While filming.
have an issue. Remember when I did my ARB bumper install and I said, good thing about this bumper is you don't have to remove it to put a winch on. In theory, yes. But for some reason, these bolts are not catching the nut inside of the winch. So, as much as I want to moan and groan, we're going to have to remove this bumper first. Put the winch on, then put everything back on. One of those things that should have bought a winch and bumper at the same time. You learn, you learn, you learn, you learn, you learn. Taking it off and probably putting it back on is going to be a lot easier than the first time because we know exactly how we put it in there.
Because we know what we're doing.
We know what we're doing.
That's what we
So now we have better access to everything, you know, and we'll be able to see why those things are not mounting the way they should. So let's go ahead and put the winch on and then put everything back on again. All right, so we got the winch mounted onto the bumper. A little bit of a pain in the butt. Good news is it's easy to get to it because ARB does provide you with all these access points. So it was actually easy to get the bolt through. It was getting it to grab was the problem. And now we're just gonna put it back onto the Jeep, you know, hopefully as quickly as we took it off. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grind down a little bit of the frame horns. When we had put the winch in there earlier, it didn't look like it was in the way, but we don't want to put it back on and realize now that it's mounted permanently on the bumper that it catches. So we don't really need to grind down a lot, just a little bit of a notch just to remove some of this excess material. And in the ARB instructions on the bumper, it even said you might have to do that in order for you to clear your winch. So we're going to go ahead and just cut this, a little bit of it out while it's all off the vehicle, just to make it easy on ourselves so that it's clear and good to go.
Now here's the fun part. Getting to those inners.
Yeah, remember we did that before.
Not with the winch in the way. We had the wrench in here.
Oh, yeah. So just a quick update, we have had to take the winch on and off, on and off. Because after we put the bumper back on with the winch in it, we now didn't have access to the inner bolts that holds the bumper to the frame horns. So now we took the winch off again. It's so tight, like in there, that you can't get the bolts in. So now we're gonna go ahead and tighten this bumper back on, put the winch back on, and hope to God that the bolts underneath will grip. See, I got them in. Like, what the? I couldn't do that before?
What in the piss clam hell?
God, this would have been a 2-hour install. Okay, just to catch you guys up. Finally got the winch in, and it's tightened up at the bottom. Got the fog light tightened back up, which is hard to do now because it's hard to get to the bolt inside there. All the stuff is just so tight, and that's what makes it a big pain in the butt. And this could have been a 2-hour install had we known that the bottom bolts, they don't have to go in that much in order for it to grip the winch. And so we kept thinking that it just wasn't threading through, but it was. So that's why we took the bumper off, put the winch on the bumper, put the bumper back on with the winch, then couldn't get to these bolts inside here to get to the frame horns. So then took the winch back off again, tightened the bumper back up, then put the winch back on, and now is able to get it from the bottom. And now Chris is doing the electrical, feeding the wires through somehow so he can get to the battery. And then after that, I mean, that's pretty much all it is, right?
Yeah.
So here's where we are, where we're trying to route the wires and do it clean enough so that it can go and reach all the way to the battery way back there without it just being flopped on top of everything.
And the ground wire's more than enough. I got it. I have it up out of the way now, but it'll come down through here, around this way, and through here, and then you can see it. It's right here.
Right.
So there's plenty of room. The issue is this.
There's only so much.
There's only so much. So I'm trying to route it below these mounting points because I got to bring them above the mounting points.
Well, let me try because my fingers are smaller, bro.
Well, it's not so much that I can't get my fingers in there. It's that there's other wires and looms in there, so it's really tight. I mean, I could do it if I could remove this whole air intake, but I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, you could. It's not that. It doesn't take much to remove an air intake.
No, but
I mean, you just don't want
to be honest with you, I'm tired of taking things off.
All right, so we got the wire through, and he's gonna try to tuck it in.
Yeah, I don't want it to chafe on any bolts or anything.
I know.
So
to the negative.
Yeah, and we'll just run
Terminal.
it right on the front here and under this, so that we're not putting it right up against the engine.
Yep.
So, and then it'll just loop back around and go on there now. So, what I wanted to do, see, is I didn't want it to be up here because I don't want it to get hit.
Squish. Yep.
So I was trying to put it down through here or run it underneath here.
There.
All I can do is I can take this bolt out and get it underneath there, but then I don't have a lot of room.
It'll reach. Try to feed it underneath.
I just pulled the...
Oh. That's all you did was... Oh, look how much more room I got. Oh, no, I don't. Chris just gave me a tip that I never thought about before. But he's saying don't ever put anything on that bolt there.
On the negative.
On the negative side.
Yeah,
always only put it on the other side.
And here's why. The nut that goes on that, it's a shouldered nut. And if you look there, there's a hole on this clip right here.
To create tension for it.
To create tension, to put tension on that clamp to hold on to the battery terminal.
Correct.
When you put electrical connection there, this shoulder now is no longer putting tension on that.
Correct.
And your negative terminal will come loose while you're driving. So your dash will light up and then all of a sudden you'll lose power while you're flying down the highway doing 80. Ask me how I know.
All right, I think we are finally done after how many hours? Only because of mounting. Oh, what a pain in the butt that was. We're going to go ahead and put the hook on, which I love the hook, man. It's a nicer hook than... Yes, and you know what? Learning is what's important.
That's half the battle.
Whatever.
Well, that's knowing.
That's G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Shut up, Chub.
Chris scratched up my nicely new finished thing here.
When have you worked with me that I haven't made a boo-boo?
I mean, I guess this thing's going to get scratched up eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be a Foverlander. I mean,
but on the first day when we haven't even winched anything yet?
Well, if you're lucky, you'll never have to use this.
I know. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go. Oh my God, what a day. Like, I was hoping to have released this video today. I was heading over to Harbor Freight around noon, was hoping to get all the install and everything done by 3 p.m. and then get home, finish recording the video and then edit it and then launch it because I do try to release my videos on Friday. And yet, here we are, it's almost midnight and I am just now finally finishing the recording. So that means that I'll probably have to do all my edits tomorrow morning and hopefully release it by tomorrow. So I'm a day late, but it's fine. The thing of it is, the ARB bumper, everything that I said about that bumper, I was absolutely right about. They said that you can mount the bumper without having a winch and then later on drop the winch in because they give you all these access points for you to be able to drop the winch in. And at the end of it all, that's exactly how we ended up installing this thing. How it started was we put the winch on and it was fitting just fine. Everything was great. We lined up the bottom mounting holes of the winch to the slots that are in the ARB bumper. But for some reason, I could not thread those bolts into the mounting point of the winch. It just wouldn't go in. If you took out the washer and the lock washer and put it in, it was fine. But as soon as you dropped in the lock washer and the other washer, you would put it in there and it wasn't going. So we're like, well, this is hard to try to get it to go in. So let's pull the bumper off, put the winch on there, and we should have easier access. So we take the bumper off. We put the winch on there, started screwing them in, and it worked fine. I'm like, oh, good. See, I have access. Great. Tightened it back up. And we lifted both winch and bumper back onto the Jeep. But now, because of that winch taking up the entire well, I couldn't get to behind where the frame horns are in order to put a bolt there to mount the bumper back on in the inside. On the outside, it was fine. But on the inside, couldn't do it. And so I'm like, oh, all right. So we bolted it at the ends at least and just didn't do the insides yet. Took the winch off of the bumper again, retightened that bumper, and now the bumper's back on with no winch. Then put the winch back on again, and then just did everything I could to try to get those bolts back into those things. This time around, I was successful. And the reason why we messed up the first time was because the bolts, we kept thinking that it wasn't grabbing. Like we just kept spinning it and it would get tight a little bit, but we're like, nah, that can't be in yet. Maybe I'm just screwing something else. And we thought that it wasn't gripping, but it actually was. It's just that there's not a lot of space. You grip and it'll already start gripping on you. So you just start tightening it from there. And that's exactly how it went in. And now it's fine. So meaning, had we just known that in the beginning, then we wouldn't have had to go through the process of removing the bumper, putting the winch on, putting the bumper back on, and realizing it's not going to work, then taking the winch. I mean, there was just so much going on that it took 5-6 hours. Finally got it in. Then we had to route the wires. Routing the wires was easy. It's just at that point when you're tired and you've been working all day, you're kind of like, oh my God, why is everything fighting against me? But we got the lines and it was nice and clean and routed in there. And then as I started to drive away, I noticed that my fog lights and my off-road lights were no longer working. And the reason why is because all that removing bumper and putting the bumper back on and then putting the winch on and taking it off, the wires were getting pulled. And matter of fact, my fog lights, the winch sat right on top of it and cut into the wire and basically shorted it. So then I get home and then I just finished reinstalling everything and redoing all the wiring for those lights so that it's working again. So yeah, not an easy day. However, I'm loving this winch. This winch is amazing. Like, I was hoping to put this thing on and then give you guys my full review and unbiased and tell you what kind of sucks. There isn't anything. Yeah, I haven't winched anything out yet, but there is nothing on here that is lacking. Not only do you get all these parts, you get everything from, your synthetic line abrasion covers, and you get a really nice hook, and you get a really nice Haas fair lead, and it spools in and out really easily, and your spooling mechanism is super smooth, and the wireless controller works perfect. I don't know what to say. I'm super surprised at how nice this thing looks, and I'm glad that I went with this winch because $470, man, 20% off. Dude, why not, right? And I know that this is one of those things that, again, I'm hoping I'll never have to use it, but I'm glad I have it. So now we have a winch. The front end of the Jeep is finally complete. But that's pretty much it for the install. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I know it was a little bit long because I had to show you all the little challenges that we were going through so that when you get one yourself, either the ARB bumper or a winch or both, then you can see kind of where we stumbled and so you don't make the same mistake. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share this video with everybody, and once again, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Baptism Overland. My name is Asia Sampson, and I will see you next time.